did you get started in the football program?
How did I get started in the football program? Yeah. Way back in 1985, my brother started playing football. Maybe it was 86, and I was a ball boy, like in 5th and 6th grade, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. And so I was out there on the old school field, the old practice field, the outfield of the softball. Lots of change since then, but mid 80s, Coach Troop had just finished up, and then Coach Cushion ended up taking the head job.
How many years has McBain had a football program?
We started in 1971, so this year was our 50th anniversary. So it took a little bit, took some guys putting together a petition, and so they got it signed off, and they got the okay, and it got funded.
How did you get the head coach spot?
For my 2015, it was right at the end of 2014. Just kind of heard through the wire. I think it was my brother had said, "Hey, McBain's looking for a football coach." I'd been coaching for about 15 years outside of McBain, and growing up here, it was a great experience for me. And so I took some interest and started doing some searching, called around a little bit. So I got interviewed when the position was posted. I got that job, and I started here March 1st of 2015.
How was this year's season different than any others?
This year, different from any others, was a lot. Just the biggest thing was the amount of seniors that left with the amount of seniors returning, and just the experience part of that's part of it. I mean, every year is different. This year just is, still trying to figure out COVID protocol early in the year. What are we going to have to do this or do that? Were we going to have to wear masks if we went to certain places and things like that? So that's how the year started. I mean, and so the year before, it's different than the year before because we didn't have football for a while, and then we had it back on. So it's been, this year's different. Just I think partially because, we're still trying to figure out the COVID situation. In terms of playing wise, I mean, this year was different in terms of usually we have our first one. One of our first two games has been a game that a tough opponent, and then maybe more of a medium opponent. And this year it was two tough opponents right off the bat. So for us, we started against a Kingsley team that was really good, and they blew our barn doors off. And then we played Beale City. We played better, but they still beat us, and so we started off 0-2. And we did have a feeling that those teams were pretty good. And Beale City's a state runner-up in Division 8. Kingsley loses in regionals, I think it was regional finals. So, the big thing was starting off inexperienced, two tough teams, and kind of in a hole.
What were the best memories from the season?
One of the big ones was just, I would say, the playoff game against Everett. I think we played our best football. That's one, just how we really turned the tables. They beat us pretty good in the regular season, and so then we turned it and really, beat them up in the playoff game. That was exciting and fun. Personally, I was just really proud of the guys at Muskegon Heights. We in a tough game, and we thought we had a good lead on them, and they scored late, and they scored midway through the fourth, and our guys still responded. So I thought that was pretty sweet too as a memory. Personally, just seeing how these guys grew, it was. There's some fun things happen in practice and games. There's too many to count in terms of the small things during games and things like that. But the two big ones, team-wise, were definitely beating Everett in the playoffs and a cool comeback against Muskegon.
Who were the coaches this season?
Well, we had Coach Ryan Pace as the defensive coordinator. Assistant, we had Bob McGillis. We had Mark Bonico, and we had Doug Bonico, and Alex Utek from Ferris, he's still in college, still trying to get his degree, but he would make practices and as much as he could.
Who were the seniors this year?
Seniors, we had Brock Maloney, we had Dwayne DeWitt, we had Karsten Huttinga, we had Caleb Camphouse, we had Brant Bonico, and we had Landon Ealing. So that was part of that's part of 6 of them. So it was, that's not a real big crew when you're trying to put 11 guys on the field on offense and defense.
How would you like to improve our football program?
Well, I'd like to improve our program. We're competitive, and it's always, you want to be competitive, but I'd like we haven't won a regional championship since 2001. We haven't won we haven't won a district since 2015. So it's those little stepping stones that get us to the ultimate goal of being the best team in our division. And so, there's a plan that what is it going to take for us to get there? Our guys want it. Players have got to want a state championship, and then to back that up, it's willing to work for it, because everybody wants to win it, but it's those people that are willing to sacrifice, and especially in the off season, we've got to. The new year kicks around in January. We need guys that aren't involved in any sports, things like that. They got to get involved in the weight room. We physically, if you look at our losses, we got beat up against Kingsley because they were physically stronger than us, and we got beat up against St. Francis because they were physically stronger than us. So Beale City, they outran us, but they also stronger than us. So I think that would be a huge tipping part of the scale for us to make a deeper run in the playoffs and be a stronger team overall. I think, we got our numbers. We'll have 25 on both the varsity and JV next year probably, so it won't be necessarily a numbers issue, but we got to be stronger. So I'd like to improve. I think anybody would want to, what do we want to do? What are we here for? And it is definitely have fun. We'll have fun every year, but for the next step for us is to compete at a higher level. I got to thank Mr. Vanna for this year's 50th anniversary. He did a lot to help promote that, and it was really cool having our 50th team come out and support all the former alumni come out and make the tunnel. That was really neat. It was an awesome atmosphere that night. But I want to thank Gary Vanna for allowing us to put that on. He did a lot of stuff behind the scenes to make that happen, and B&D for helping with all the cool hat. I really like the hats, cool hats, and T-shirts and shirts, so sweatshirts. So thank them as well.